right, we are live. How's it going, everyone? Welcome to the first episode of the In Case You Forgot show on American Hammers Network. We are joined by a great group of lads here. We got our judge next to me. Charlie, how are you?
I'm feeling hella judgmental, Lucas. I can't lie to you. I've been doing it all day. I've been seeing people and going, no. Do you know what I mean? I'm ready for it. I'm practiced,
Good.
warmed up.
I like
Good.
that you prepared. That
Yeah.
shows. Then we got to bottom of me, we got Alan. How are you?
I'm good. Oh,
And
perfect.
then over there, wrong way.
Yep.
Nope.
No.
Whatever.
You're terrible at that.
We got Costia.
I'm also really bad at that. I have to use both fingers. No, I'm great. I'm wonderful, and I don't think we should call it the In Case You Forgot show. It's a little bit of a mouthful there.
First time. I gotta get ready.
just in case you forgot. In case you
First
forgot.
time hosting. We're gonna
Yeah. No,
we're gonna
I'm
get
not
the
very
kinks out.
forgiving. I'm sorry.
All right,
It's my
so
nature.
just to lay this out for you guys, the point of the show is to discuss topics in a brief amount of time. We want to get the point across on topics we think are important, relevant, all that good jazz. And it's going to be Costia and Alan sharing their opinions against each other, with Charlie being the absolute judgmental lad that he is. And I will just provide the banter when necessary.
We get a point, so we're going to artificially keep track of points and see who's top by the
Each
end
of
the
them
season.
have two-ish minutes. After that 2-ish minutes, Charlie will award a point. If I see any tomfoolery going on, I will use my absolute power to veto or do anything I want because I'm the host.
Yeah, and Charlie can decide we're both wrong or that we're both right if he so chooses.
I mean, I have the power to make Charlie in charge if I want.
Thank you. I'm ready. I'm ready and willing at any point.
Okay.
I've got topics on hand. AG, top 3 fruits, and it's difficult questions to answer. You know, what's your favorite pie? Stuff that can be used if necessary.
And before we start, I just want to give a quick shout out to everyone in the chat. Thank you for coming. It's very much appreciated. So
thank you to the founders and Tim and Lee, of course. We can't not mention them. And I think there's an obligatory AmericanHammers.us plug and go to the shop.
Yes.
Lucas, take it away.
Thank you for the platform. We
What's
appreciate
our first
you guys.
topic?
So right off rip, our first topic is going to be about our new appointment of Rob Newman from Man City, head of recruitment. Will Rob Newman make a difference and take us to the next level in the recruitment department? Costia, we'll go with you first, and your time starts now.
No. I just think that recruitment requires a really big team, and one guy doesn't make the difference. I do like his resume. I'm impressed with some of the people that he found for City. I don't know how significant it is in comparison to other heads of recruitment because I just don't do research like in that level of depth. I just know about West Ham, so I can't tell you what it looks like in other clubs. But what I do know is that we're in either second to last or last in terms of total amount of scouts hired. At least we were last season. Maybe Norwich have less scouts than us. I don't know. What's impressive about him is that he found 3 kids. Diaz and Maffeo are the names that I've never heard of, but Angelino, who I think was a left back, he found them and paid only $200K for the 3 of them because he got them as kids, and they ended up selling them for about 40 million combined. So I guess that's impressive. I know he found Aymeric Laporte, which is somewhat impressive because he was just at Athletic Bilbao, which is a mid-table Spanish club. So, there's a few impressive things on the resume, but I think what will really impress me is if we hire a dozen people under him, which is, I think, the bare minimum that what we should have instead of David Moyes always like traveling to, the Scottish Premiership and doing his little trips and working more than full-time overtime. So I like it, but I'm not like, it's not, we need way more.
You done?
Yep.
All right. We will hand it over to Alan. Your time starts now.
I think yes. I think it's going to make a big difference because, as you said, Costia, it's about how David Moyes works right now, and he has to travel. He has to talk about all the contract stuff. And with Rob Newman now at the club, he's going to most likely overtake that stuff from David Moyes. So Moyes will stay as he is right now, scouting probably, and he's very good at scouting, as we've seen with Sufal, Soucek, etc. And he'll just be able to focus on that stuff with Newman taking over the contract stuff, the negotiations, and all other things involved. And it will also make David Sullivan not involved, which is something we were all hoping for, as he's generally awful at negotiations.
I think we can all agree on that. Alan, you got anything else? Or are we finished?
We're done,
Gotcha.
I think. Yeah.
All right, time. Charlie, please MC this. What do we think?
I think it's interesting. Costia came out of the gate with "I've done no research," which I loved. I back that wholeheartedly as a stance to take. Just go, no clue, mate. But I think the clue is in the question here. Will he make a difference? I think he will. I think the truth is, I probably agree more with Alan on this one. I was listening to Costia's arguments, and I think you made a lot of decent ones, Costia. I think the difference here, though, is that we very clearly need someone to come in and step into that role. As much as David Moyes, I think, has done very well over the past, however long you want to say, the past 18 months with transfers, and he has. Some of those are lucky. Someone who's coming up later on in the show, Kufal, I believe, is probably slightly lucky. Stuff like that, and this is about taking that luck and making it more consistent. So will he make a difference? Yes, because taking any of that responsibility away from David Sullivan is always a positive thing and will make a difference. So 1 point has got to go to Alan on this one. Although I can't lie, I do respect the no research stance that Costia took out of the gate. I respect that more than anything else I might do on this show.
Well,
You
thank
know,
you.
as the unbiased host, I have no problem with that. So there's no veto, no nothing. Alan is up 1-0. And we'll move on to our second topic with the second most important news of the day. Some would say first. Vladimir Sufal, new contract extension for 3 more seasons, fellas. Do you think he can remain consistent over the next 3 seasons? He is 29 now, I'm pretty sure. End of his contract, he'll be 32 to 33. Who knows? I don't know when his birthday is. But we will start off with Alan, and your time starts now, brother.
I think he will. I think it's going to be the same stuff as it was with Zabaleta, to be honest. He's going to maybe slightly deteriorate in terms of ability and pace, but his positioning is just too good for him to just start being useless.
All right. Do you think he'll continue to have the engine on him that he does right now?
I think he will. He might not be as fast as he is right now, and that's not one of his biggest strengths anyway. But yeah, I think he will have still the engine as Zabaleta when he was like 35 when he was here. So
Gotcha.
It's all about his defensive ability, his way, how he moves around the pitch, not necessarily how old he is or how much pace does he get.
Gotcha. All right. Is that all you want to say?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Great.
All right, Costia, we are on to you, and your time starts now.
Look, I think Sufal is one of those players who his intelligence is very clear on the field. I think you can almost see him thinking, the way how quickly his eyes move. He just, when he whips in a cross, I think he crosses just as well as Cresswell. I think his balls are usually a little bit lower. I think he's usually aiming for feet instead of heads. But I do worry about his pace because I do think fullbacks slow down in their early 30s. But he only just turned 29. He's got 8 months to go before he's 30, 9 months. I think my only concern is that I really, really like Ben Johnson. And I just wonder, I know David Moyes is very loyal manager, will usually prefer veterans, experienced players, especially in defense. And so I just wonder about a young player like Johnson, who, as much as we should commend him for how he does at left back, I think right back is where he's really meant to be. He's just offensively skilled enough to play like a right wing back role, but he's not a right mid. So you can't really change his position because I think he's too sturdy and strong to not play defense. And so I just wonder what that'll look like if we'll end up selling Ben Johnson because we don't want to sit Soufal. I think Fredericks is obviously the right person to sell there, but that's my only kind of spin on that. But I do think that 3 years is the right amount of time to keep him for, and he needs to be less hesitant when he's shooting the ball. And that's really my only complaint about him.
You done?
Yep.
All right, good. Charlie, bring the hammer down for me.
It's a difficult one. It's a very difficult one because will he remain consistent?
Oh, and real quick, you can reward both of them points if you want.
See, I'm leaning towards it at the moment, and I'll tell you why. Because it's a difficult one, because I do think he'll remain consistent, because as both people have just pointed out, or if you both pointed out, he doesn't, it's not like he's the fastest player in the world here. We're not talking about Ryan Fredericks. He's not, and I know Wally's in the chat, and I apologize, Wally, but he's not a pace merchant, okay? And you know I love him, Wally, I apologize for that. But that's not what he is. He's smarter than that, as you've both pointed out. And I think when you're looking at whether or not he'll deteriorate, that will happen to some extent. But my gut is he'll probably deteriorate similar to Fabianski deteriorating, in that, sure, he won't have the exact top level performances he did have for the first year and a half, whatever he's going to end up having, but he'll still be very good. So it's a difficult one. I think you've both made good points there, and I can't see past giving you both points this time. I'd rather give you both points than none at all, although literally it means the same thing at the end of the day. But I'll give you both points because I think you both raised solid points there.
Oh my goodness. That's what you love to see. Good points deserve to be rewarded, and that is why you're the judge.
There you go. I mean, and I'm a nice guy, and that also gives me leeway for when one of you diss someone I like out of nowhere, and then you're not getting nothing. Do you know what I mean? Ruthless for then, nice for now. You know,
you get in where you fit in. You need to get on the judge's good side. You know,
exactly. I can be bought. Just letting you both know, I can be bought. Curly whirlies, just anything really.
Craig's. Yeah, sausage rolls, get them, you bring them in, steak bakes, any number of baked goods, really. If it's got a pastry, I'm usually there for it. I'm here for it. I'm just saying, I'm just putting it out there. I hope you both are keeping notes. We will move on to our third topic, which you could argue the past two matches we played have had West Ham Twitter in an absolute bind. And we're going to talk real quick about Andrei Yarmolenko's performance against Rapid Vienna. I have seen all throughout the Twitterverse a good 50-50 split of, I wouldn't say praise, but like, oh my goodness, Yarmo, great game. And then we got, oh, he's still shit. So, we'll let both of you decide that, and then Charlie will bring the hammer down once again. Costia, we will start with you, and your time starts now.
I'm on team. He's still shit. I do see more effort. I definitely see like a little bit more hustling. I still think he's liability defensively. He's a bit like the white Masuaku, but he can be dazzling at times. But he's been doing that cut on his left foot move that he's supposed to be so good at. And I've seen him miss 4, 5, 6 since the beginning of the season, including the cups and the Europa. When I've seen him play, he's trying that same move. It's barely on target anymore. But my biggest issue here is that he's the highest earner at the club. and that automatically affects my argument from an emotive point of view, because he's also often off the bench. And it's like, why are we paying this guy this much? Nobody wants to take him, perhaps on loan. I'm sure he's going to go back to Dynamo Kiev after this year. It's nice for the Slavic camaraderie to have him there, but yeah, I think he's a total waste of money. We could be paying a striker and a left back his combined salary easily, and we know that wages really matter to Sullivan, and that's why he makes certain choices financially, and so we prioritized. And but I think our window is affected when you have these players, and that's why we were so quick to ship Haller and Anderson, because they made a lot of money, and we didn't care about transfer fees. We were just so happy to get them off the wage book. So not good enough. Fine, interesting option to have with like 10-15 minutes when you really need a goal, but no, I'm not particularly impressed. I just do think he's trying a little bit more, though. I do notice that because he wants a contract for next year from someone.
All right, very good. I'm going to ask you both a kind of end question after you give your statements, because I think this could sway the judge a little bit. I think it give him a little something to think about. All right, Alan, we are on to you, and your time starts now.
Well, I didn't watch the Rapid Vienna game because I was at work. So that's
Charlie, make sure you give him points for that.
But on highlights, he looked better than usual. I mean, he created the first goal with his pass to Antonio, which was very good, open up the space.
I like to call it the Slavic dink ball, as fellow Croatian.
Yeah, Slavic dink ball. Yeah, exactly. And he's starting to run more defensively and pick the ball in better areas in the middle of the pitch, which is very nice to see, because usually he'd just stay in one place down on the wing waiting for someone to pick him up, and then he'd try some weird flick and lose the ball again and stay in the same place for the next 15 minutes. But I think he's a good player, a very good player, because we did pay £20 million for him, and we're paying him £115,000 per week. So he has to be a good player for a club like West Ham to pay that sort of money.
All right, and this will be my question to the both of you. Charlie, I need you to think about this.
Okay,
and and please make sure Alan was at work. You've got to give him some sort of points for that. Absolute lad for that.
Putting in the hustle.
Yes.
Well, to be completely honest, I didn't watch the full game either because Paramount Plus is a mess. I mean, no wonder it's $5 a month and not $15 a month, because you can't rewind, you can't pause, you can't fast forward. I have it on live, but I know that there's like when I get home, there's 5-10 minutes left in the match. So I'm doing this thing where I'm blocking out the score, and I couldn't rewind, and I'm not going to wait 4, 5, 6 hours for the replay to be posted. So I just watched the highlights like Alan in his defense. I also had a meeting.
I will say this. I'm going to give a point to myself, because I'm going to make the point. Paramount Plus is shit. So I'm going to give myself a point in all this. But my ending question on this topic for the both of you: do you think Yarmolenko can end on good terms with us, even though he's been so absolute shit for us? Do you think he can end on good terms with us? Alan, I want you to go first.
I think so. If he keeps working like he's working right now, I think he's going to make at least some of the fan base like him a bit more than they do right now.
All right. Costia, what do you think?
I mean, I don't care what he does. He's going to be one of those players that regrettably live in my memory, but that I wish did not, like Radoslav Kovac and Luis Boamorte. I wish I didn't know their names off the top of my head, but I do. It's players I don't care for that I'll somehow remember, probably because of that stupid Chelsea goal when he was doing this. But yeah, I mean, I don't think he's going to do anything. He might get a couple goals, but it's not going to change how he's remembered. He's he's like an acquaintance. He's not a real friend. He's someone you knew, but forget him. He's not important.
All right, your time's up, pal. Charlie, I know
Got a
I gave you a lot to think about, but I think you're the guy for the job that can dissect it all.
Big head, big brain. You know what I mean? I've been dissecting it. I've been deeps in it.
I need a 5-head play here.
First thing to say is on my other screen, I've got Inter versus Sal Sulo, and they've been absolutely screwed over here. Inter do not deserve to be winning this game. Second thing to say, Lewis Borough, how dare you diss Lewis Borough Morte, bruv? He better not hear you say that. He'll come for you. He's scary. He's scary and also an absolute lad. I think when it comes to Yarmolenko, I think I disagree with most people. I think he's all right. I think he's pretty good. I think he's a decent player. I think he just doesn't suit the system, but I don't think that's necessarily his fault. When it comes to talking about effort, I disagree with most people. I think he puts in the effort he needs to. But even I would say that he's stepped up a little bit in the last couple of games in terms of performances and effectiveness. I think that's the big thing, is effectiveness here. To be honest with you, Inter have just scored again. This is bollocks, mate. To be honest with you, I honestly think I like that final question because I do agree with Alan. I think he can end on a good note with West Ham, and I think, to be honest with you, I think that's for two reasons. One, I think he's doing better now, and I think the fact that most people, I would have said that 90% of people would have called Yarmolenko the biggest piece of utter trash in our squad before this season, and I think now people are sort of going, do you know what? He's doing his thing, and we appreciate that. Which means that he'll probably be remembered fondly, because the second point is we football fans, we are a fickle lot. We don't think about anything beyond what happened yesterday.
We know how to hold a good grudge.
We know how to hold a good grudge, but also if someone has a good game once at the end, we look at them like they are a legend. And that's just how life goes. Do you know what I mean? That's just how life goes. So this is what I'll say. I think he can remember. I'm going to give the point to Alan, and not only because he was right, but also this Lewis Beaumont, Costia.
Look, when I was in high school, okay, Lewis Beaumont was every disappointing moment. Couldn't feed the ball into Ashton. Couldn't feed the ball into Tevez. Always lost it on the touchline. No. I don't know why you even like that guy. And you think Yarmolenko is going to be remembered fondly. I think, Lucas, this is a veto opportunity here because that's fondly.
The question wasn't would he be?
He's not going to be Ricardo Vaste. Do you see him scoring in the Europa semifinal to send us to the final in the 94th minute? I don't see that happening at all.
And it happens, Costia, and all of a sudden it happens. You know what I mean? Also, the question wasn't would he, it's could he. And I think he very much could. So, you're forgetting how fickle people are.
You're telling me that I can't have the pipe dream of Andrei Yarmolenko scoring the winner in the Europa League final against Marseille at the Bowl. You're telling me I can't have that dream?
No, because Marseille is not even going to be close to being there.
So. Oh, you're right.
No, because the final will be in Seville.
Yes.
There's also that problem. There is also that problem. But I'm putting that. I'm going Alan. One point Alan on this one.
All right.
And Costia a warning for Lewis Beaumont a slander. I know that I won't be dealing with this.
A point deduction warning for Costia.
Yeah, we're not doing it yet. I feel like it's fair. You know, it's early in the game. Someone's got a reducer and you go, listen, you got to chill it a little bit. I'm just putting it out there.
You're the points judge. You're not the referee.
Well, sir, final warning.
You're going to give me yellow? Go ahead. Give me a yellow. Go ahead.
Not yet. I'm a fair person. Okay. And I'm allowing a little bit of back chat. But know that if the back chat or Lewis Beaumont slander continues.
I knew we got the right guy for the job. Christ.
You know what I mean?
Love it.
You know what I mean?
All right. And then we're gonna get to our sort of last piece of, or actually our only piece of news today. No matter how you stir it, no matter how you look at it, there's a rumor afoot. There is a rumor afoot. We love a good rumor, don't we, lads? Love a good rumor. I almost do kind of want to call it shocking because I am American. I love my U.S. men's national team and women's national team. And we have been linked with a certain someone, USA International, Weston McKennie, and people are saying that he is the potential Declan Rice replacement. Now, we are not going to discuss if he is going to be, but if he were to be acquired by us, do you think he could get on at West Ham and do a job? Alan, we're going to go with you first, and your time starts now.
I still subject to buy McKennie. because I was looking at McKennie when he was at Schalke, and I really wanted him back then, but obviously Juventus stepped in, and we got the big check. But if there was an opportunity to even buy McKennie for like 20-25 million pounds, we can sell Souček for more than 20-25 million pounds. So I think anyway, if Rice was to leave, if Rice was to stay, McKennie would be my first buy. And with Kral now, I think Kral is a good sample, third, fourth option. And Souček wouldn't want to stay to be third choice. So to cash in on him, as his contract is fairly long, he's 26, very good. But McKennie's ability just suits us better than Souček, because I think at least Souček's passing is average, very average to say. His goal scoring is good. His defensive work is good. But on the ball, if we want to progress the play, he's not the person for us to have in the middle of the park. And it kind of limits Rice even, because
20 seconds.
Because with Rice, I think we want to make him the box-to-box midfielder he's talking about, as he's far and beyond what Souček can do on the ball.
All right, very good. Right at the timer. So just to add on real quick. So Alan, you think we're pretty much in a win-win situation either way if we wanted to get McKennie? Okay.
Yeah.
I respect that a lot. That was a great point. Charlie, keep that in mind, please. Costia, please let me hear what you got to say about Winston McKennie possibly being an iron and if he would fit into our team. Your time starts now. And please be respectful.
Yeah,
I love this guy.
Let me tackle this in two ways, right? Obviously, if I'm not looking at the mitigating circumstances, Weston McKennie is a very appealing player. He's young. He's a deep lying defensive midfielder, which I think is what we need. I think Kral is a little bit more box to box. I don't know if he's solid defensively yet. I haven't seen enough of him. I agree with Alan in terms of the evaluation he made of Souček. I think he's got everything there correct. But of course, the premise is that he's the Declan Rice replacement, and that's something that I don't, go to the funeral until the person has died, right? And so this idea of Rice leaving, I'm going to be here thinking we win the Europa League or we finish fourth and go to the Champions League, and who is Declan Rice to say no to Champions League when technically he's on a 4-year contract and he's going to get a ton of bonuses for all those qualifications and cups and everything that hopefully the success that we have this year. So do I really like him as a player? Yes. I think he's really promising. What price are we actually going to pay for him is what I'm
30 seconds.
And Juventus is a club that do let talent go, and I hear there's a lot of financial crises in Italy at the moment that are not, it's not bankrupt yet, but they really need to sell. I know Inter Milan had to sell a lot of players. That's why they let Lukaku leave. I don't think it's quite as bad as Juventus, but they have a big squad. So he's not going to be as good as Rice. He's not going to be as effective as Rice. He is a solid replacement. Yes, if he replaces Souček, that's dreamland, right? We're not going to have 4 great defensive midfielders. It's just
your time is up. Stop talking.
Okay.
Hush your gums. The timer has spoken.
I better.
In chat, you are right. I am so bad with names. The older I get, I did call Weston McKennie Winston because I do love Winston Reid that much.
Okay, I'll let you off that. Winston Reid's a lovely man.
You have to. I'm in charge.
You raise an excellent point, sir, and I apologize. You see how this works, Costia? The boss says something, and I go, fair enough, mate, you're in charge. You know what? You see how this works? You see how this all plays out? Okay.
Play your part. Play your part. That's all I got to say. Charlie, please The mic is on you.
What I was interested about this one is that I didn't really have an opinion either way, to be honest. I've heard a lot of things about McKennie and Big Winston, and I haven't watched enough of him to really truly make a judgment call.
You just called him Winston too.
Oh, listen, on purpose, my friend.
Okay.
On purpose.
See, this is why you're the guy, and I'm just the host jester.
I know what I'm doing. Anyway, I haven't seen Phil McKennie play that much, right? And so I was interested in the arguments here. This is more an arguments-based one for me. Who had the better argument here? You know, how is this laying down? I like Costia's argument of, you don't want to jump in a grave when it's not already there. That's not what you said, and it's not really a phrase, but I've said it out loud. Now we're going to go with it. You don't want to jump in a grave that's not there. But I also equally, I think Alan's right. I think you're maybe saying maybe he's the Souček replacement instead. I think what would come down on that is whether or not we stick with this system, whether we change to a 3 at the back, because I think Souček was far more effective in the 3 at the back system because, like you say, passing not his strong suit. I think they both made good arguments, so I'm going to go 1 point each again. Because I think there was 2 strong arguments there, and neither I can really disagree with. Like I said, I wasn't convinced either way of this pre-hand. So I think they've raised good points, and I don't want to. When 2 people do well, I don't want to criticize them. And no one mentioned Duas Belmorte, which is becoming something I'm going to get very strong on. Apparently,
you said you don't want to criticize 2 people that are doing well. That sounds like a certain goalkeeper situation that we have, but we're not going to get into that today. So we are now. Oh, my math is so bad. I'm already screwing up. I'm terrible. I want to say it's 2-2 or 3-3. Does it really matter at this point?
No. Alan is up at least 2.
I almost want to award you a point for your honesty.
Here. So I think it's like 4-1 or 5-2.
Oh, I don't think it's
Lucas, you have 1 job. You're producer.
Costia's got 2. Alan, I think, has 4. I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, people in the chat.
Okay,
but I believe it's 4.
Rob Newman, you gave to Alan.
Yeah.
Second one, Yarmo, you gave to both.
1-0. So it's still on.
Yeah, I think it's 4-2. Yeah, 4-2 sounds right to me. 4-2.
Yeah,
4-2. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got my stuff mixed up.
So we're gonna need a big play from Costia final round here. Because 2 points could be given.
You know what?
If it was an unreal argument, if it was insane.
Lucas, get a piece of paper and a writing utensil, or perhaps.
Oh no, we're good. We got the notes up. And you know what? I'm not opposed to a little double point round action.
I'm just saying, Costia's got it in him to release such an unreal argument here. I've seen it happen before. He's got the volume. He's got the knowledge.
Well, let's hurry up because we promised the people 45 minutes. So we got 11 minutes to do this.
All right, we're gonna make this a quick double point round action. This has nothing. This has something to do with anything. We're gonna talk about this quick one. Do you think that Cresswell and Masuaku should start playing together soon? Costia, I will let you go first because I have been seeing in the Twitterverse, of course, I've seen some buzz that people miss Masuaku. He did have that one very nice performance recently that's getting the people a little eager. And I just want to know your thoughts.
Against Zagreb.
Yes, I want to know your thoughts starting now.
Yeah, so I think the bigger question here is which one's better and should we play both? I think should we play both is a no now because we have Kurt Zuma, who's just miles better than Craig Dawson. I'm sorry to the chat and the Dawson fans there, but we're a very offensive team. We're a team that plays total football, as you may, right, where our wingers come back and we always have at least one deep center defensive mid. So I think that when we had a back 5 and things were going well last season with the back 5 at times, that was due to the circumstances, due to injury, we basically had no choice to be a little more conservative and more defensive. So I as much as I do like Arthur Masuaku as a player, he's a defensive liability more so than Cresswell. And that's because his defensive know-how is not as good as Cresswell. He is faster than Cresswell, but he also forgets he's a left back for a minute, and then he goes and plays left wing, and then he has to track back, and the tracking back he's fast on, but it's once he's actually gotten to his man where he can give a pen, give a free kick, or just lose the guy.
30 seconds.
And so it's not so much that Cresswell's amazing, but Cresswell has the assists. He's a little bit smarter defensively. So it's, for me, it's no to them playing together. And Masuaku is a great bench option, but Cresswell has to keep starting.
All right, real quick, I'm going to give you a 1-point opportunity to get yourself back into the game.
Okay.
All you have to do is sing Arthur Masuaku's song right now.
Well, I don't want to like scare our viewers away, so I'm gonna pass on that opportunity.
Ooh.
Oh,
Bold.
you're gonna okay. That's
Bold.
very bold because I think
Nobody wants to hear me sing. I'm not. It's not.
I mean, I do, but that's
it's
fair enough.
20 seconds of cringe is not.
I beg to differ. I think we all would like to hear that. But Alan, you are up. Your time starts now.
I'm just going to say what I've been saying since 2017 or so. Masuaku is better than Cresswell in most areas. Defensively, it's his concentration and positioning really that lets him down. But he's faster. He's a better tackler. He's intercepting the ball is much better than Cresswell's. If I were to say, well, personally, I would start Masuaku anyway, no matter the circumstances. But it's all about how we want to play. Because if we want to play conservative football at the back, then it's obviously Cresswell. If we want to play, as Costia said, total football, then it's Masuaku for me. Because he gives us that another dimension on the left. As we've seen with, let's say, even Felipe Anderson. With Masuaku, he was working brilliantly. They were interchanging, they were working together. And when Cresswell came into the side, it all fell apart because Cresswell would run away to play as pretty much as a left forward, try getting goals. And at the back, then Felipe Anderson had to stay far away down the left side, not getting involved and eventually getting sold this summer. So for me, it's always going to be Masuaku. If it's left back, left wing back, no, really. It doesn't really matter for me.
Got you. All right, time. I will say this, and real quick, I'm going to have to look at the chat. Foe says, Jesus Christ, is Alan trying to tank on purpose? I wouldn't say that. This man's up 2 points on Costia, and Costia had a chance to come back. All he had to do was sing one of the most beautiful songs I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, well, there's 5 minutes left, and we didn't talk about Brentford match predictions. So technically, I could still win that one as well. And but it's up to Charlie really to decide. Does Charlie want to stick around for 5 more minutes, or does he want to get back to playing FIFA 22?
So I won't deduct your point, but suggesting I even touch FIFA 22 is getting close to not even point territory. We're talking just a scrap. Okay, sir. How dare you? How dare you?
Remove that moment from your memory and just judge what we said before.
You didn't know. I'll take it out. It's gone. But let it be known. FIFA 22 is trash. Carry on.
I disagree.
Alan. Alan. Okay. Okay. We'll get into it another time. Alan had an uphill battle on this one because I'm one of these people. I do like Masuaku to an extent. I think he's very good at carrying the ball forward, which is incredibly useful in counter-attacking sides, especially when you're in a tight situation and you want to feed the ball to someone very deep who is able to not only wriggle out of that situation with surprising amounts of finesse, but also just taking it all the way up the other end of the pitch. It can be unbelievably useful. Unfortunately, I just think that in the system we're playing currently, in a 4-2-3-1, Masuaku, at least at left backs predominantly, which is what he would be playing, because I think our attacking options on that, our attacking options in general, are just too good for him to be playing in a sort of winger position or anything else. I think specifically in this scenario, I would have to always stick with Cresswell on that, just because I think he just works better in that system. But I do like Masuaku. I don't think he's complete and utter. I don't think he's the worst thing that's ever happened in the world, for example. But I am going to have to give this one to Costia. I'll give him the point on that one. Like, he had the opportunity for 2, but we will go for the 1, and then we'll see what happens leading into the final question with Costia training 1 behind.
All right, I respect you. You're the judge. I picked you for a reason. So the score is Alan 4, Costia 3. Now, what I'm trying to figure out right now is, can you really award a point on a prediction? Can you, Charlie?
Maybe not on the prediction itself, but if we're just talking sort of on how the wider game will go out, that sort of thing, I think there's certainly a point to be got at here. Because
there's an opportunity for a tie, but I might make this a double point round, so whoever gets this wins.
You're in charge. I'll leave it to you. If you want to, if that's the way you want, if you want to play fast and loose with the point system like that, I can back it. You're the boss. If you want to stick rigid to the system, then I will equally back that. What I'm saying is, I'm putting all responsibility on your shoulders and ducking it.
All right, we'll do this. Alan, Costia, I want you both to give me your match prediction, how you think the match is going to go, and I want you to give me what you think is the best trait about Brentford. That will decide who wins this match. We're doing a double point round.
Okay.
There's going to be a winner. There will be a loser. Alan, you got 2 minutes to give me your match prediction, how you think the match will go, and the best quality about Brentford FC. Starting now.
I think the game will go not necessarily in terms of goals and the minutes of goals, but around like we've played Leeds. And I think Brentford's main quality is their pressing and how they're able to just nullify their opponents with their press, and even Tony leading the line. So it's going to be an end-to-end game, like we've seen against Leeds. There are going to be a lot of chances. Whether we take them or they take them is another thing. I don't really have much else to say. It's just going to be the Leeds game again, but hopefully no more 90-minute drama.
Gotcha.
Because
what's your score prediction?
2-2.
2-2. Gotcha.
2-2.
Okay. Costia, we are on to you, brother. Starting now.
Yeah. Look, I really like Brentford. I think that we could use their director of football because their scouting is next to none in terms of what they've been able to do. Look, they did 3-3 with Liverpool. They demolished Oldham. I know it's Oldham, but it was 7-0, and that's probably their bench that was playing as well. And then before that, I thought the most impressive was they beat Wolves 2-0, despite going a man down with like a good 30, 40 minutes left in the match. So I think it's going to be 1-1. But what I want to say, my favorite part of Brentford FC is young Josh Da Silva, who I hope, maybe one day plays for us. Because he's born in Ilford and from Ilford, and he's a West Ham fan. And I'm particularly fond of Ilford because that's where I've spent most of my time when I'm in England. And so he's a West Ham boy, and he's done really well for them past 2 seasons, and I hope he can cut it at the Prem level. But yeah, 1-1. I think they're very solid, and it's going to be a close game, and we'll be a little disappointed because we think of them as a championship club, but really. They're a very good side. They play very well together, and everybody, contributes. Well managed.
Gotcha. So you would say, what would you say is their best trait as a squad?
That's my whole thing, that they have Josh Da Silva, who's a West Ham boy.
Okay. What? Well, we can.
That's the best thing about them.
Okay.
Born in Ilford.
Charlie, take it away. Well, it's technically in my hands, but I'm going off you. It's in your hands until it's in mine.
Love that. Okay. Brentford. I love Brentford. Full stop.
Shout out to people just doing nothing.
Big up. The absolute scenes. Can't wait for Japan. Do you know what? Okay. Here's what I'll say. I think Alan is 100% correct. I think it probably will be an exact copy of Leeds to an extent. Their pressing is very good. Brentford just know how to play football. What I love is seeing a team come up from the championship, like Costia said, and we look at them as a championship team, but what they're doing is they're playing the right way, quote unquote. And often when you see a team come up playing the right way, they get absolutely blapped and go straight back down into the championship. Whereas Brentford are showing actually, if you step up, if you do have your right recruitment, if you're smart about the way you do stuff, not only can you play the right way and stay in the Premier League, but you can do pretty damn well. So I like Brentford a lot. I always have a soft spot for them in general. When it comes to points, the thing is score prediction wise, I'm a bit more confident. I'm saying it's going to be 2-1 West Ham. I do think Brentford will get a goal. I think it's going to be a hard-fought game. I think at the end of it, we will say, you know what, Brentford, they tried their hardest. They put it out there. They took us to the line, but I do think it will be a 2-1 win for West Ham. So I can't go for who has the same score prediction as me. So I'm going to have to be based on arguments. And I'm going to have to give it Alan. I think that Leeds argument is just too good. I just think it's correct, personally. I do think it's the right shout. I think you look at their style, and obviously, look, no one plays quite like Leeds. They're a bunch of lunatics. But to be honest, they are relatively close, Brentford. They are relatively close. I think that's the one that's twisting it for me. I apologize, Costia.
Hey, I thought I was going to get it with the Josh Da Silva argument.
I do
like to be very specific. That was my whole angle. So I didn't address the question enough.
I do like the specificity of it. I do. But, you know, and the general argument on the thing, I will have to go with on this one.
I will say this. It did feel it was a lot easier to see you lose wearing that Tom Brady jersey. I'm not gonna lie. If you're wearing something else, I'd feel a little bad for you. But today's just not one of those
Ben
days.
Roethlisberger looks up to Tom Brady, and he says it all the time. So that's your quarterback.
This is a footy show. All I have to say. This is a footy show. American football, we don't do that here. All right. So as you can, we can officially announce Alan is the winner of episode 1, absolute battering of 6-3 of the double point round, convincing. The scoreline says so.
Should we have a show next weekend? It's international break. I'm thinking 2 weeks.
I feel like we could do some. We could.
I need some time to decompress.
Okay, that's fair.
Heavy loss. That's fair. You know.
I mean, if there's some juicy news to be had or anything, I think we can come back. But typically, I would like to use the last 5 minutes of the show to maybe take some chat questions. But no one is really asking any questions. If you guys have any quick questions to pop up, please drop them, and we'll try and answer them within this little wrap up. But I want to say thank you to everyone who came and watched our first episode. This is our first crack at it as a team. We are going to get better. I'm actually surprised how well this went. I thought this was going to be a disaster, mostly on my part. Tough job. But I think we'll wrap it up there. Charlie, thank you for being an absolute unbiased judge that you are, laying the hammer down.
Actually,
Alan, beautiful arguments.
There was some Bo Morte slander. It almost spilled over for a moment, but it's okay. We pulled it back.
Do we have any lasting words for the people? None. Costia, you don't. For the first time, you have nothing to say.
No, the whole premise of the show is that we keep it under an hour, so it's like,
Oh, on American Hammer TV, that is impossible.
You're supposed to throw the paper at the camera now, like Tony Reale. Nobody in England will know what that means.
You know who runs this network? It is impossible to keep a show 45 minutes.
Costia, that's
the whole premise. The whole premise. 30 to 45 minutes. Well, our show will be shorter next week because we won't have to introduce ourselves and do all that. If you don't know, you'll figure it out pretty quickly.
Get to know.
Alan, you got anything you want to say before we let the people go?
Thank you. I'm obviously the better argumentator here, with more knowledge about football. So
for today, you are, and I'm gonna actually make that a fact. I'm gonna make that a fact. This is going down in history as the first dub, and in case you forgot, and we will see you guys. I'm gonna say we'll see you on Saturday, but you better pray there's some news to talk about. Y'all better pray, not me. Take it easy, guys. See you next week.
See you next week.